when in doubt, blend it out. Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. As you can see by the title, and thank goodness, because otherwise you would be like, what is this makeup trend you're trying to start there, Ellie? I am doing real-time blending for you guys today. So I've been seeing this on several other YouTubers' channels where people are requesting that they do like a real-time blending. Not just like blending tips, not just how do you do eyeshadow, but like real-time blending. How many dips are you doing into the palette? How long are you blending for? Don't edit that crap out anymore. We want to know how long it's taking you. So I thought that I would show you guys how long it takes me. So I did one eye already, and it's kind of your classic dark brown smoky eye. And the only time I'm going to edit is when I say something stupid. That's about all I have to say before we get started. I will say that I already primed and set down my eye. That's an important step in making sure your blending looks really nice. If you try to go in with eyeshadow on top of wet eyeshadow primer, it's going to get a little skippy and patchy looking. Why don't we go ahead and get started with this real-time blending? So for this video, I'm going to be using the Morphe 35OM palette. So if you have it, go ahead and grab it and let's get started. Any other eyeshadow palette you have, like a light, medium, dark, and super dark brown will work just fine. To start, you want to take a nice big fluffy blending brush. Since I'm going to be talking a little bit, this might actually take a little bit longer than it would for me normally, but I'm going to try not to talk while I'm just blending, and I'll just play some music for you guys. So it's not that anxiety provoking dead silence, you know? To start on this look, I am going into this color right up here. It is in 3. As you can see, it is a light toned brown. I'm using these colors because it works well for my skin tone and a smoky eye. I think if you have anywhere from light to medium deep skin tones, it'll probably work. Anywho, so I'm going to start with this shade right here. Let's get going. As you can see, I'm taking this up pretty high in the crease. I have hooded eyes, so I have to take it really high, practically the brow bone. And you don't want to like squeeze your brush, you want to lightly hold it and lightly brush the bristles across the crease. Dip number 2. Now. Dip number 3. I usually do this in most palettes I use, especially for that first transition shade. Then I always kind of look to see, does it look nice and spread apart? Does it look like there's any patchy areas? If there's any patchy looking areas, you can just kind of sweep for a little bit. I like to start where I put the eyeshadow first, and then I start working my way up the lid to blow out the edges. Now we are going to take a smaller fluffy blending brush, and I'm going to be taking this brush from Morphe that is a little bit pointier than that first brush I used, so we can be a little bit more precise with it. And I'm going to be going into a deeper shade than what we just used. So that one was really close to my skin tone, just slightly darker than my skin tone. The next one I'm going to use is this guy right here, which is kind of like a milky, warm milk chocolate shade. And I'm going to take that on my brush. Dip number 1. So when I dip, by the way, I'll show you on my next dip what I do to dip, and I always kind of give it just a click, 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 little tap, tap. So why don't we go ahead and go in with this. I'm gonna go a little bit lower. And I just kind of plop it in there because we're gonna be blending it out, so. And I'm kind of bringing this down because as you can see, it's like curved around the eye there, so. Same kind of deal once the color is placed and I've blended for a couple seconds. I start kind of going up a little bit with it just to blow it out a little bit, but not too much. Dip number 2, I told you I would show you. I kind of go like in just like 4 or 5 times like that and make sure that the whole tip of my brush is coated. Tap, tap, and then I go back in. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and go in one more time. Kind of same deal, like 4 to 5 times, 5 to 6-ish. And I notice that it's a little darker out on the edge than it is on this side here, and I want it to be the same across for this look anyways. You might not always have it that way, but anywho, blending, blending. Okay, so next is where we are going with the darkest shade on to, well, not the darkest, the second to darkest. Next we're going into the second darkest shade that is going right onto the lid. So I'm going to use a shader brush for that. This is a wet to dry shader brush from NARS, and I'm going to next go into, oh boy, we're going into this shade right here next, and that is going all over the lid, basically. So, and then don't worry, we're blending the edges out. That's part of the blending. So I'm gonna show you me applying it to the lid. I like to tap it as I'm packing it on, and then I like to kind of swipe up with it. Need some more. Second dip of that. I am taking a little bit on my finger and I am just putting it where it looks a little patchy. I am not skimping out on you guys. All right, and then I'm going back into that second brush we used, that slightly pointier but still kind of big fluffy blending brush, and I'm going back into that second color, but not with as much. I'm going to take like just a couple little dabs there right on the tip, tap it off, and I'm just going to take that right into the crease to blend, to make sure there's no harsh edges with that new color we just put down. So this is the trick to blending too, right? You want to be going backwards in your colors to make sure the edges are all blended out. So I just tapped a few times back into the first color we used, and I'm gonna take that right where I first laid that down and blend there as well. Okay, so now I feel like it's looking pretty good. We have to go to the lower lash line, and then you can always go back and touch up things that you feel like either kind of got blended away a little bit or places that look a little patchy. You can go and touch it up, and it's not gonna hurt to do that. So we're gonna move to the lower lash line now, starting with the lightest one. I'm actually gonna take a really small, fluffy blending brush for this, and I'm going back into our first color right here that we used, and I'm going to dip into it just a few times, tap it off, and I am going to be blending that along the lower lash line and connecting it up with the top. I want this color to be sloppy. That's why I'm doing a big, like not a big, but a small blending brush versus just like a liner brush or something really small and precise. I want it to be blown out so we can be smoking out the lower lash line. Second dip of that. As you can see, I'm being pretty sloppy with it and connecting it up and making sure to blend while I do that. Third dip. Okay, I'm pretty happy with where that is at. A little bit more. So I am going to go now back to the second color that we used with a slightly more precise, where is it? But still fluffy blending brush. So this is a little mini brush that I got from Luxie. Anything like this that you have will work. So it is narrow, as you can see, but it's still kind of fluffy, and it has like a little bit of a, like it's a little bit frayed out still. So I'm going to be using that in our second shade and start building up those colors on the lower lash line. So, and it's again connecting up. Second dip. You can already see it starting to form here. You're going to really concentrate this in the outer edge because we're going to start really deepening that outer edge like it is on this side. That was it. I just used 2 dips for that. And now we're going to use a even more precise. So it's still narrow, still like flat and wide, you know, but not as fluffy. You can kind of see when I put them side by side that they're both flat, you know what I mean? But this one's fluffier and then this one. So I'm going to use this one next, and I'm going to go back into that third color that we used. The color that we used on our lid is the one I'm going into now. So going into that one, I'm kind of coating the tip of this with it. I tapped that a few times because I got a little too much. And you're gonna get this nice and precise, pretty close to the lash line, and make sure you're really concentrating it on the outer edge and maybe not even quite pulling it in all the way. I can't help but make the face. I can't help it. That's actually all I'm going to use of that color, and without any extra product, I'm going to go back to that other brush we used on the lower lash line, and I'm going to continue to blend. and I'm not pushing hard. I'm holding the brush pretty firm now, but I am not pushing hard on my skin. Okay, and the last piece of the puzzle is a super, super dark shade. So now we're going into the darkest shade, and you want to concentrate that just on literally the outer corner of your eye. And I'm going to go into this shade right here. I'm going to take a pencil brush for this, and I'm going to take some on the tip. And I just went like 1, 2, 3, but not digging, just like dabbing. I'm going to tap it off once. And you want to put that probably about 1/3 of the way under the lid. And bring that out as if you're making a little itty bitty baby wing. And I'm going to dip again. Again, kind of 1, 2, 3, tap once. And then right up on the lash line of the bottom lid. This is where I would check to see how does my blending look. Do I want to add anything? I think I'm going to add a little bit more of the dark shade actually, so I just did one little swipe. And I'm just kind of pushing it on there. Okay, just like that. So I'm feeling like I need a little bit more color on my lid. So I'm taking a little bit on my finger. I just kind of swirled like 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to put that on my lid. And that looks pretty good to me. Okay, so this is a smoky eye, and it's a matte smoky eye, so you can add to it if you want. You can put something on your brow bone or whatever, but that is it for the blending. All right. Oh, and then as you can tell, I have a eyeliner on the waterline. Today I'm using the Flower Beauty Forever Wear Longwear eyeliner in Brownstone. So I'm going to use that to line the waterline. That kind of tops off a smoky eye look. Alright you guys, I am going to put on mascara. Before I do though, you know what, I am going to highlight the brow bone just a little bit. The matte white shade, well not white, but it's like kind of a bone color up here in the corner, and I'm just going to pop that right the height of my brow bone, right under my brow. I'm going to keep it just like that. Inner corner highlight with your highlighter if you want. I keep saying that's it. And then I want to do more. I'm going to put mascara on and I'll be right back to say goodbye. Okay, you guys, there you have it. That is blending in real time. So I know this video is probably pretty long, but I mean, it's blending in real time, and yeah, it actually does take me that long for the most part, other than the fact that I'm usually not explaining it. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was informative for you. And, you know, I feel like I threw in some just tips about blending in there too. And honestly, I kind of think this video would be really hard to do without giving you blending tips. Thank you so much for watching today. Please subscribe by hitting the tempting red button right down there. Here's some more instruction for you. Look straight at me. Now look down to the diagonal right. Do you see it? Click that red button. Thank you guys again so much. I will see you later. So, anyways, without further ado, why did I say that with Laura Lee? When in doubt, blend it out.